Hello guys, thank you very much for tuning in. My name's Odelia. I'm just somebody who's known to make vlogs in regards to managing your money. Not in regards to making money, but strictly just about managing money. You can see in the background, I'm actually in my daughter's bedroom at the moment because it seems to be the only atmosphere in the household where I'm going to get peace and quiet. Everybody else is quite busy, TV on, little baby crying, etc, etc. So I'm just going to use this atmosphere. Today, I am going to speak about being a guarantor. What is a guarantor? Well, it's simply a third party who makes a guarantee to a lender that they will take responsibility for any repayment in case the borrower fails to pay it. So this usually applies to mortgages, rent, and also loans. I have been a guarantor before, so let me just give a clear idea. So I've been a guarantor for a friend who was renting out a property. They just came to me and said, "Can you be my guarantor, please?" Did some thinking, and I went ahead and did that. Now, there have been some occasions where people have asked me to be a guarantor and I've said, "I'm sorry, but I really can't help you." You see, anytime that someone comes to me to ask me to be a guarantor, I always have to ask a few questions in advance before I make a decision. Now, question number one, how well do I actually know that person who's asked me to be a guarantor? If I don't know them at all, then I won't really consider being their guarantor. You may question, well, if you don't know them at all, then how on earth did they come to you to ask you to be their guarantor? It could be that a friend or family member actually referred them over to you. To be honest, in that case, if you do not know the person, please, I plead with you, don't offer to be a guarantor. Why? Because if by any chance they do not pay off their expense, and of course the lender comes to you, there's a probability it's going to be very hard for you to get in contact with that person who's failed to make the payment. So truly and honestly, if you don't know that person, then I won't recommend you to be a guarantor. Question number two. You need a clear idea of where that person's income comes from and if it is a reasonable amount. So have they got some benefits? Have they got wages? Have they got student finance? And is it reasonable enough for them to pay off that which they're asking you to guarantee? Like e.g., say for example, somebody is renting out, decides, asks you to be a guarantor for a property they're renting out for £2,000 a month. And there's somebody who maybe they just got a minimum payment as a job. I wouldn't offer to be a guarantor for that because there's a great probability at some point they would not be able to afford their expense. Okay. Another question is, how well are they at managing their finance? You do not want to go and be a guarantor for somebody who is very poor at managing their finance, because again, there's a probability that of course they're very negligent with their money to the extent that a landlord or a lender comes knocking on your door saying, "That friend of yours, that family member has not paid it." If somebody came to me today and said, "Adelia, I'm broke," and tomorrow they said, "Can you be my guarantor?" No, I'm sorry, I can't help you on that occasion because I'm not going to take the risk of me having to pay off your expense, okay? Question number four, I think I came to this question number four, is I need to look at my own financial life. If, again, I do come across a worst case scenario where I have to make a repayment, I need to question myself as to, would I be okay making that payment? I don't want to, for example, let me just reflect on now when I was a guarantor for one of my friends. So they asked me to be a guarantor for rent that cost £400 a month. I went and had to look at my wages and also looked at my savings account and asked myself, so if that friend of mine is unable to pay their rent for any given reason, do I have the money to go ahead and pay that off? I concluded that yes, I do have the money, so I did offer to be a guarantor. Also, another question you need to ask yourself, again, look at a worst case scenario. If you do have to make a repayment, are you okay to let go of that money possibly? Now, of course, that friend or family member has failed to pay their expense. There's a probability they're not even going to have any money to pay you back for that repayment you had to make. Are you okay to let go of that money? If you know it's going to be a problem, like it's going to bring a financial crisis upon you, then again, I wouldn't recommend you to be a guarantor either. A bit too risky. Yeah, so those are my questions I asked before I go ahead and be a guarantor. By the way, let me add this on. When it comes to being a guarantor for a loan or mortgage, boy, that is a lump sum of money. You really have to do a lot of thinking before you consider that. I mean, if somebody asks you to be a guarantor for £10,000 loan, Gosh, I don't know what to say. That's something you really have to think of. You do need to think of the worst case scenario. The thought that your friend or family member is unable to pay it for any given reason, and then you have to take care of that. Is it going to be okay upon your financial life? That is quite a sacrifice. That is quite a risk. So you might want to have a little think about that. Thank you very much for watching, much appreciated. If you could just click like, also share and also subscribe, that would be awesome. Hopefully as time goes on, hopefully my vlogs will get better and better, and of course at least one person will listen to his vlog and say, actually I need to think about that as well. Maybe you can get in contact with me with your comments and come up with other topics that you think you need some information about. Thank you very much for listening, and I much appreciate it. See you next time.